Greetings everyone! Welcome to my review of Archie Sonic issue 216 and the conclusion to the Family Matters two-parter. I wonder if the title's deliberate given that Jaleel White, aka Steve Urkel, was once the voice of Sonic. Anyway, last time Sonic went to the Northern Tundra to help the Arctic freedom fighters free the walrus herd from the Dark Egg Legion. Meanwhile, Rotor decided to go against the Council's wishes and had Nicole make him an iron Rotor suit so he could free his herd for good. On the way, Silver ambushed him. Thanks to what information he could find in the future, he believes Rotor's the freedom fighter traitor because he replaced someone named Boomer. So here we are. Silver has shorted out Rotor's suit and is ready to end this. Rotor says he'll never betray his friends while getting around the short out. Also, he says no one calls him Boomer anymore, at least not since the very early issues of the comic. Silver doesn't buy it. It's only when Rotor mentions his herd is in danger and the numerous lives involved that Silver backs down and agrees to help him. Well, that's a fast turnaround. Speaking of the herd, Sonic and the Arctic freedom fighters are assessing the situation. This tower, which is shaped like a totem pole, is used by the local Dark Egg Legion chapter to boost their hold on the herd. Team Water, as I'll call them, heads down to deal with the underwater portion of the tower, while Team Land engages the brainwashed herd to get to the upper part. They're not happy with hurting the herd, but they are in the way. It gets awkward for Sonic when he comes across Rotor's mom and little brother. As Sonic tries and fails to snap them out of the brainwashing, Irma knocks them out. Apparently she has invisibility powers. Like I said last time, she has a no-nonsense personality. Team Water seems to be doing a better job against the Dark Egg Legion chapter, which consists of killer whales. Before the group can really go for the tower, they get attacked by the Legion's leader, who's named Aklut. As he takes them out one by one, he exposits that the whales and the walruses have been at war over territory for a very long time. The whales use their sonar to confuse the walruses, which made them vulnerable to Robotnik's devices. Now that they are the Dark Egg Legion, they will rule the northern seas with their walrus slaves. Rotor and Silver arrive and head straight for the upper portion of the tower. After laying themselves in, Rotor pulls up information on this doohickey Silver points out. It's a neural interface for direct manual control. Rotor gets the idea of Silver using the device in conjunction with his powers to save everyone. After some words of encouragement, Silver's hooked up to the interface and unleashes a psychic command, disrupting the whale's signals and finally freeing the walrus herd. Rotor and Silver meet up with Sonic's group, and Rotor requests that his involvement in this mission remains secret. At a dinner in Iceboro, we learn that Silver's signal affected the Dark Egg Legion so hard, they kept bumping into each other while retreating. Plus, it made sure that the walrus herd can never be brainwashed again. Ha! Take that, now gone magic sword. A Sega character did what you couldn't do a year or so ago. Well, all Rotor has to deal with now is all that council meeting and Hamlin's constant whining. Good luck, buddy. Back in New Mobotropolis, Sally and Amy are having a meal. I assume they are back from the Egg Dome empty-handed again, when Tails, Bunny, and Antoine return from their trip. Sally wants Bunny to rest up quickly because once Sonic returns, she'll be sending the two of them on another mission. Once again, setting us up for the next two-part story arc. And in the same location, no less. However, we're not done yet with this issue. Like last time, we have a backup story featuring Silver in his future. This time after the events of the main story. Having failed to find the traitor again, and learning more about the Boomer nickname from Rotor's mother, Silver's feeling pretty embarrassed by now. Also, someone approaches him. Meet the Guardian of Onyx Island, Edmund. He was name dropped last time when Silver was doing his research, so he didn't come completely out of nowhere. We learn Silver's been altering his future a little bit every time he changes something in the past. Some things remain the same, such as the burning wreckage of the Ark. Others are different, such as the appearance of the Great Krudzu Spore that apparently Silver defeated, even though he never experienced it himself. Being out of sync with the timeline complicates things. The conversation then shifts to Silver's master. Edmund doesn't like him, and Silver's more worried about him finding out he's time traveled again. Cue the voice of the master summoning Silver back. Silver and Edmund part ways, with Edmund saying to himself that this failed guardian may teach Silver something yet. Interesting. The Master tells Silver that he's not fully trained and he doesn't have an understanding of the past, and how he needs to be considerate if he's to be a Knight of Kronos. Essentially, what this conversation amounts to is the Master recognizes that Silver has great power and wants to make sure he doesn't make the same mistakes he did. We soon learn why he said that as Silver returns home and we learn the identity of the Master, Mammoth Mogul. Let's knock the Boomer thing out of the way. For those unaware, Boomer was Rotor's nickname in-universe when he was younger. And out of universe, the Boomer name was used up to issue 5 of the main series before switching out to Rotor. More than likely, I might have said this already in my reviews of the earliest Sonic comics. It's been so long, everything's becoming a blur. Here's what you might not have known since the information comes from the Sonic Encyclopedia. Rotor got the nickname Boomer from his fascination for powerful weaponry, coupled with the sometimes disastrous results of his engineering efforts. I've read somewhere Boomer was a mistake in the early issues. I don't know if that's true since the name Boomer came from the original Sonic SatAM Bible. I do know reprints of those early issues changed the name from Boomer to Rotor. If it was a mistake, hey, they got mileage out of it in this two-parter. Not to mention at this point, it's also the name of Rotor's evil universe counterpart. And spoilers, the name will return in the future. You'll see. I'm mixed about the resolution to the Walrus Herd dilemma. First, I'm glad it's finally over and we never have to deal with it again, although it is convenient Silver's powers made that possible. Second, I'm glad it's Rotor and Silver that ended the conflict. Rotor makes sense since it is his herd after all, and after having some humiliating moments so far, Silver needs some sort of victory. I'm kinda meh with the Sonic and Arctic Freedom Fighters versus the Dark Egg Legion portion of the comic. If I could get away with it, I would have Sonic out of the story and just focus more on Rotor, Silver, and the Arctic Freedom Fighters taking on Eggman's forces. Unfortunately, this is Sonic's series, so he has to appear in some capacity. Still, it could have been more exciting given how the surface crew can't really hurt the brainwashed herd, and the water crew's dealing with a new Legion faction. Maybe if more page time was dedicated to learning more about this new Legion chapter. But what we got instead was an exposition dump about the conflict between the whales and the walruses. That's fine, but prior to this issue, we've never seen the whales before. At least with the Cats and Dogs two-parter, it used characters and elements from the comic's history in new and interesting ways, especially when selecting the villains. Here, we need an explanation why the herd keeps getting brainwashed, and this whole time, it's really powerful echolocation. At least the aquatic life's consistent to what we've seen previously in the comic, and the whales might have been chosen based on Game Sonic's past history with them. I believe the cover of this issue is a shout out to a section of Wave Ocean from Sonic 06, which makes the whole thing even more confusing since Sonic never interacts with the whales in this issue. Heading over to Silver and his mission, that was a fast turnaround when he confronted Rotor earlier in this issue, going from "I'll kill you" to "I'll help you because lives are at stake." That is until you remember the whole point of going back in time is to save lives. Also take into account the previous issue's backstory, and the hard decision on whether or not to kill someone before a pivotal event. Well, Silver can officially cross Rotor off the traitor list thanks to getting more info about the Boomer name, from Rotor's mom in fact. Again, he was so embarrassed when he returned to the future. We do see Silver's trips are affecting the future, since apparently freeing the walrus herd now produces the Great Kudzu Spore. Don't you just love how the ripple effect works in time travel? We meet Edmund, no doubt named after the first Guardian. Given that he's about a century old, I have a feeling he was around when Angel Island crashed. I don't know about you, but between Edmund wanting to teach Silver something to atone for a past failure, and Silver's master teaching him how to properly control his powers, I'm getting a slight Star Wars vibe. Yeah, there have been other examples in media, but this was the first one that popped into my head. Edmund's distrustful of Silver's master. Given that it's Mammoth Mogul, who in Sonic's time is still a villain, that's understandable. But I believe in Silver's future, Mogul regrets his past actions. Like how Vandal Savage was in that Justice League episode Hereafter, which featured a post-apocalyptic setting, and Mogul's essentially the Archie Sonic equivalent of the character. I assume he's no longer immortal since he's aged considerably. It could mean he's lost his Chaos Emerald again, or he's always been aging, and in 200 years, he's approaching his twilight days. Who knows? This Knight of Kronos thing. Not much is known besides what I've read, that they are time guardians, and that they may be related to the Time Stones. Whether Mogul was one of them or not is unknown, though he does know how to use the Time Stones to travel through time. Fun fact, Knight of Kronos is also the name of the achievement you get when you S-rank the last mission in Sonic 06. And our final game fact for today, Onyx Island, aka Future Angel Island, was probably inspired by the setting of Sonic Rivals, a game that had playable character Silver trying to fix the future. I can't believe I missed that last time. Final score for this issue is a 6. To me, it is definitely weaker than last issue, which is a shame, since from what I've read, yeah, I've done a lot of reading this time, this was supposed to be Rotor's final adventure, and what better way to cap it off than to free his herd for good. I'm glad he played a large part, but I feel like there could have been more to it. Because Iron Rotor was well received, it will appear again, and this two-parter now serves as foreshadowing to what will happen with Rotor down the line in relation to the Council. The ending of the main story has Sally planning to send Sonic and Bunny on a mission. Why these two? And what is this mission? Let's just say it involves a blast from the past, in more ways than one. You'll see in issue 217. I bet Silver's thinking, this is more embarrassing than being gassed by Rogue Echidnas.